Guys, hold on. I'm about to crack on to phase 4 on the LLF M140 conversion build. But before we start the actual video, I noticed something in the last video. I made a mistake, I put my hands up. There was a big chunk of the last video that I forgot to edit in. And a lot of you guys were roasting me for it, and it did seem like the video jumped. In the last episode, I showed you that I discovered a problem with the Vanos system. I'm not even gonna talk about it. Just check this out. This is the missing piece from the last video. And once you see that, then that's a proper explanation for the problem. And then we're gonna be sending you back in time, because as you can see, we're in the new Essen garage, but that's not where this video starts. So in the last video, we reassembled the rear end. I've done some coding on the headlights and also the clocks, but this was meant to be the interlude to explain. Alright guys, it's the next morning. How many times have I said that in this episode? This is the 5th full day that I'm going to dedicate to this matter. I've done tons of research, made tons of phone calls. I was told that the Valvetronic system is more of an efficiency issue with the fueling. It makes the fueling more efficient. This B58 system has got a backup or a secondary system, manage all the same stuff that the Valvetronic system will manage, and it's actually going to be safe to drive the car. So I'm going to try to fault find a little bit more. It's actually Good Friday today, it's a bank holiday, so I can't really get a lot of parts in, but at least I can take the car out for a first test drive and we can see what's going on with this B58. So that was the missing portion. We reassembled the car and we went out on a first drive. And that brings us to today's episode. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode from Salvage Nation. This episode starts the beginning of phase 4 on Ricky's LLF 114i to M140 conversion. But in phase 4 is where it gets a bit techie, because we're going to be chopping up these rear quarters and we're going to be molding in some M2 rear quarters. Over the last few weeks, I brought you phase 1. In phase 1, I went ahead, I stripped down the car, I've made everything ready to take all the M140 bits, and you saw all of that. In phase 2, I went ahead and I showed you how I got all the parts. I went and got a donor car. I showed you how much that car cost. We stripped it down, we got it ready, we got rid of the shell. Phase 3 was all about assembly. I went ahead, I took all of those M140 parts, I fitted them onto the 114 shell. We got an actual running M140 now. And now this is where we're starting the real technical part of this build, which is cutting and welding in those M2 rear quarters. I don't know how far we're gonna get, but it's gonna be sticky. So let's roll on the video. Now things never goes to plan, and shortly after filming that, the entire game changed. I got my own garage, and now we're here at the new Essen garage. Guys, before we continue, I want to show you something. The last raffle that I done, which was my 2020 A35 AMG, I used all of those funds and I picked up this bad boy. This is going to bring you guys better content. I'm going to be dropping content on that car very soon. Trust me, it's going to be crazy. Take a break on that, and I want to remind you, the raffle for this car is live. It's a 2017 Aston Martin DB11. It's in immaculate condition. It's a 5.2 twin turbo. This car is such a lovely car, and you could be rolling away in this car for as little as £5. Listen to this bad boy. Put it in sports mode. You could be rolling away in this car for as little as £5. V12, this is James Bond's car. Come on, come on. So guys, click the link in the description down below, grab some tickets, because come draw day, I'm gonna be giving away this car. It's worth 70 grand. You can win it for as little as £5. You can win it, you can drive it, you can win it, you can sell it and buy a house. Like, just let that sink in. You can win this car for as little as £5, sell it, buy a house. This is life-changing stuff. I'm so happy that I've made it to a position where I can allow someone else to do this. And yeah, I just want you guys to get involved. I hope that you're feeling lucky and you could be skirting away in my 2017 Aston Martin DB11. Right, let's continue. Now, as you can see, I got a used rear quarter panel from a break-in BMW M2. So that means I have to separate the outer skin from the rest of the panel, and to do that I need to remove this rear glass. And I'm using some techniques that I picked up along the way working with the likes of Mr. Glass and all the other windscreen technicians that I've worked with over the years. I always like to make note and pick up new skills as I'm working with people, and now I can do it myself. With that glass removed, that is going to give me access to several spot welds I need to drill. I actually picked up two different types. I tried the first type, that wasn't working, so I'm using the second type and they seem to be doing the trick. So this is the most tedious part of the job. I have to drill each spot weld one by one, which was a lot. But I was able to take my time. I made my way through the entire side panel. Everything was going well, and then I realized I didn't even have a hammer. So I had to nip to the local shops, picked up a hammer, came back, and then we can continue. Crazy. So now it's time for action. I picked up a hammer and a split and chisel, and with all the spot welds drilled, all I had to do was split the seams, and this outer skin is about to be removed. So enjoy these shots. I did all my measurements and I double checked them, and I'm making some rough cuts, and I'm cutting a lot more material than I actually need because this is going to be trimmed down later on once I fit it onto the car. More drilling and more splitting along the sill edge, and that is the last piece before removing the side panel. So there you have it, that's the inner portions of your chassis. This is the main heart of your rear quarter panel. What you've seen me remove is just the outer skin, and that's all we need. Speaking of which, there it is. Now, it did get a little dented in the process, but we're going to be body working the entire area, so it's not a problem. So guys, it's been a long old morning, but I've managed to separate the outer skin, the panel that we need, from the main body of this unit, and I will be making use of all of this, so I'm not going to throw that away yet. Stay tuned, you're going to see this again in a future video. That's the panel that we need, and we've got Ricky's car in the new Essen garage right here. It is going to be crazy, guys. There's going to be a major update on the Essen garage. We've done so much, as you can clearly see, but this video is all about the LLF build, and we're going to be continuing. You've seen how I've separated the other panel. I need to practically do the same thing on the car, and yeah, it is going to look crazy. So guys, I have to repeat that entire process on the car. So I'm removing the 114i side skirts. We're fitting M2 side skirts. Normally M2 side skirts are a little bit too long, but because I've fitted the wings from an M2 and now the rear quarters from an M2, it should all fit up perfectly. See guys, I almost forgot my PPE there. With the PPE fitted, I went ahead and I drilled all the spot welds again before removing the rear glass and making my cuts. Alright guys, so I went ahead, I drilled out all the spot welds, I got the window out, you've seen it all, but this is the point in the build now where I can size up that new M2 quarter, and I'm gonna give you a quick preview of what it's gonna look like. Trust me, it's gonna look sick. Check this out. So firstly, I wanna point one thing out. Have a look at these crevices, look at these lines, look at everything on this side. This is obviously the blue M2 rear quarter. This is the 1 series. Have a look at that. It's exactly the same lines, the same crevices, is exactly the same. Because this door, from a 1 series, the coupe doors on a M2, they're exactly the same. And a lot of people don't know this, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about right now. Let's get this up. Test fit. So even with the existing panel on there, it's still gonna line up and slot together like a glove, but check this. Obviously, I'm gonna make sure it's in the correct position, but have a look at that. Same body lines, look at that gap. Everything is looking great on that front. As you can see, it's quite flush and I'm quite happy with that. So let me show you some slow motion shots of what the new wider rear arches are gonna look like. So as you can see, it's got the regular 114 rear quarter still in place, but the M2 quarters are a perfect fit. So as I said, it's like a glove. Have a look at the door, all the jams, all the lines, everything lines up perfectly, and this is proof. Now look at the gaps that we're making. We're adding at least 1 inch to 2 inches of width in that rear end, and I wanted to show you this because you can see the difference between the original quarter panel and that new wider M2 quarter panel. Now I was making great progress, but I was running low on some materials, so off camera I made a phone call to a local parts department, Go In Spare, over in Littlehampton. They've got everything that you can possibly need if you're running the garage, so go check them out if you're in the area. So with deliveries out of the way, I was able to just crack on, and we're gonna go ahead and get this rear quarter panel removed. So after making my cuts, this is what I'm left with. And as you can see, if you're paying attention, look towards the rear of the car where the lights and the bumper meet. Obviously, that's a complete different shape to an actual M2. So we're gonna have to do some jigging and some fabrication there, but I'm sure that I've got this in hand. I've done a lot of research, so I know exactly what I'm doing. So guys, we started off phase 4 with an absolute bang. Have a look at this thing. I went ahead and I fitted the M2 side skirts, everything lined up, everything is looking amazing. I've got everything held down. And this is a major moment because I've branched out. This is the new Essen garage and look at what we're producing, and I'm very happy with it. But I want you to tell me what you think in the comments down below. Oh guys, this thing is looking so sick. I went ahead and I fitted the M2 side skirt just to make sure how everything is seated, how everything's lining up. Because I fitted the entire panel and this bottom section as well, I don't need to adjust anything on that side skirt. Have a look, it's fitted in right there, and if you come all the way back, it's fitted in right there. Everything's slotted in. The door opens and closes as it should. And if I come down here, you'll see, look, this is the new panel. It's fitted up right there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's all fitted up. And this is the M2 side skirt. So it tells me that all my calculations here are okay. I'm happy with the fitment on that. I went ahead and I started to trim up this little section here. This is the final resting point for here. I need to just sand this back, weld it. In the rear, we have to do something special to make all of this fit. However, I've ran out of cutting this. We're gonna be finishing this up in the next episode, but for now, I just want to talk about this. This is still a problem on the car. So like I said at the beginning, the Valvetronic system is just a fuel efficiency system that BMW have developed. When the Valvetronic goes off, BMW have a backup system for controlling all of that side of things. So when the Valvetronic goes down, it actually reverts back to the throttle body. So right now, the engine is running off the throttle body, and I've manually set the motor to max lift for the valves. So that means I'm gonna get full power on the engine. So the engine is working. One of my subscribers actually said that I should do a live data test, and manually, there's a little nut at the back of the motor, you can manually turn it, and I'm not getting any movement on the live data for the sensors that are inside on the centric shaft. So I'm thinking that it might be a sensor issue. So that's a little update on that issue. In the next episode, like I said, we're going to be continuing all of that. I've got to do the other side, and then I'm going to spend a bit more time here. And once I've done with all of this, Ricky's got a really special plan for the paintwork and all of that sort of stuff. So we're going to be handing this car back to Ricky very shortly. And once I do, I've got a little surprise for him. Thanks to my guy, Valentino from VPEX Trims. We've done something really smart. And Ricky, if you're watching this, you haven't seen it, you don't know what I'm talking about, but trust me, you're going to be gassed. And I hope all of you guys are gassed as well. We're at the new SN Garage. I've got tons of new builds, tons of new content coming up on the channel. I'm dropping an M2 comp build, massive updates on the SN Garage, and I'm dropping a movie. Hello?
Double OD,
yes.
I've got a mission for you. You've got to collect a very important package and drop it off.
Big double OD. Trust me, there's so many things that's going on here, and I hope that you're going to stick around to see how we're doing. And if you want to do that, make sure your bells are on. 60% of you guys watch my content and you're not subscribed, and it's killing the channel. I keep saying it, it's killing the channel. So please help me out, help me out, help me out. I'm trying to bring you the best content that I can bring, and I just want a little bit of a helping hand by clicking subscribe. It's free. Subscribe, make sure your bells are on. And this is where we're going to head off. It's now gone 6 p.m. on a Saturday night. I'm here by myself, so I'm going to pack up. I'm going to hit it another day. I'm knackered. So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, press the like button. And yeah, we're gone. Guys, don't forget my 50k sub giveaway. I'm sending one lucky subscriber and their families over to Mercedes-Benz World, free of charge. They're gonna get to experience off-roading in a Mercedes G63, but the entire family also gets a second ride in a Mercedes G63. It's gonna be the ultimate day out for you and your family, and all you need to do is subscribe. It is free. And once I get to 50k subscribers, I'll be choosing one subscriber at random.